have a client that we're building his entire content ecosystem for. And last month, just using short form content alone, we were able to get him over 800,000 impressions and increase his audience size and his reach by 528%. Now, this video isn't for me to brag. This video is literally just for me to break down one of the most important principles that actually allowed us to do that for our client. Because yes, it improves views. Yes, it improves the audience size, the followers, the likes, the shares, but that also is directly tied to his revenue. And me being the content marketing guy that I am, since I've been doing this for 5 years, I'm gonna break this principle down for you and just give it away to you for free. And hopefully, just hopefully by the end of this video, you're actually able to implement something. So please take notes. Let's get it. All right, so this simple principle, and I don't want to sound like I'm oversimplifying it, but this simple principle I like to call the value pyramid. So I usually draw out the value pyramid. Anyway, so the value pyramid has 3 separate levels. This level is not so good of a level. This level here is actually pretty good, and honestly, I would recommend staying at this level for most people. You'll understand when I speak about it. And this level here is just the best possible level that you can be at. So I'm gonna break these down because usually you make the most money when you're at the top level from the content that you're producing. And I think that I want to reframe your mindset real quick about content, because a lot of people think that content is just for sharing to get the audience, but content is all marketing. Your content is free marketing for your business, for your brand, for your company, your offer, your product, your service, whatever you have, whatever you're trying to give to your ideal target audience, content is the star to that. And so when I break this value pyramid down for you, I want you to understand that this value pyramid is directly tied to the marketing of your company. It really does change not only the way that your audience grows, but it completely changes how your audience perceives you through your content. Okay, so I will actually start here at the bottom of the pyramid, right? At the very bottom of the pyramid, I call it Googleable. Somebody's going to steal this, so that's why I'm glad that this video is out on the internet. I call it Googleable, right? And the reason that I call it Googleable is because this is where, and I'll actually draw there we go. I'll just write bad. When your content is Googleable, it means that not only are you creating content that anybody can go on Google at any time, but it also means that the level of your information is crap. And when the level of your information is crap, your audience doesn't seek a need to watch you. Your audience doesn't seek a need for your marketing, again, which is content, right? They don't care to watch your videos. Every time a video pops up from you, they now have an aspect of this video is going to be unimportant. And if this video is unimportant, I don't need to watch it because it won't serve me, right? So if you're here in the Googleable fashion, right? And I'll actually highlight it here. If you are making Googleable content, here are the first things I would recommend for you to get out of that Googleable cycle. The first thing I would do, right? And this is going to be a big lever for me, but if you are currently, again, in this Googleable section of creating content, hopefully my writing isn't throwing all of you off too much, but the first, and I mean the first thing that I would stop doing is I would stop taking so much inspo. But Jaden, how are you supposed to have inspo? Here's what I mean by that. When you are here in the Googleable section, right? There's also a section that falls under the Googleable section, which is you're creating content that everybody else and their mama are creating. Meaning you look like everybody else. And if you look like everybody else, there is no reason for your target audience to consume you because you look like the person that they just watched. And so the first thing that I say that I would recommend getting rid of is stop taking so much inspiration from everybody else, which is actually going to tie into the second level of the value pyramid, which is where I recommend everybody be at. And if you're going to stay at one level, I recommend staying at that level. But stop taking so much inspiration from everybody else. Okay, I get it. You want to look at what the marketplace is doing. You want to look at what's working. You want to copy what's working. But at the end of the day, we need to stop looking at view count. We need to stop looking at the likes, the saves, the followers as means of success, because that's really what we're doing, right? When we take so much inspiration from our competitors, everybody else in our industry. We're looking at what everybody else is doing because we want to see what's working. So therefore we can validate ourselves with the content that we produce. And that's not the way to go, because you're honestly doing the quite opposite. When you make content like everybody else, when you make Googleable types of content, you are literally doing the complete opposite of validating yourself, validating your offer, and you as an authority within your space. And that right there is literally going to be the first step in pretty much getting rid of the Googleable. Now, this is a general breakdown. I give a more in-depth breakdown to all of my students. If you want to be one, click the link down below. Aside from that, let's move on to the second level of the pyramid, which, to be completely honest, is the best level of on the value pyramid that you can be in. And that level being, let me cross this level out. Bang. The level being experience. The experience level is possibly the best bang for buck level of creating content that you could be on. Jaden, what is the experience level? The experience level of making content, and I really want to get deep with this because I am such a big advocate for this, is when you only make content that you can make. Ta-da! If you are a big fan of Alex Hormozi, you've heard him say that he's a 1 of 0. And a big thing that he does with his content is he tries to make content that only he can make. What does that mean? That means he is making content from his experience and his experience only. Whether it's on the same topic as everybody else, the context in the video, the value within the video, hence why this is a value pyramid, is based off of his experience. Simple as that, okay? And so how do we actually do this? It's so simple on how to do this. Literally, the context within the pieces of content that you're making is either your opinion, your principle. And when I say your opinion, right, obviously you know what opinion means, but when I say your principle, I mean that we all, right, as coaches, as entrepreneurs, as consultants, we all have certain principles and certain tactics, which is another one, your own tactics. We all have certain principles, tactics, strategies that we use, which strategies is another one, that we use that not a lot of people know of, or not a lot of people do. And some of these strategies and tactics and principles are things that we've discovered ourselves. And so if you take that approach with your content and share these principles, show how these principles differ from everything else and how your audience can get a result from them, you're now making content from your experience, which means that the level of your content improves. I actually want to bring that into something, right? A lot of people are like, Jaden, how do I improve the quality of my overall pieces of content, right? Because as a professional, right, as somebody who is a consultant, somebody who's a coach, it's very important how you show up on camera, right? It's important that you show up clear, that your audio is nice, right? That you are very articulate, but the quality, it's almost this. And this is a big, I guess you can call it a metaphor, that I love to give my students, right? You have a desire to make $1 million, right? That's your goal. You randomly get a knock on your door, right? You open the door, it's a guy who has on a very dirty tank top, right? He has some old, super old Levi's that has holes in them, dirt stains over them, and he has Crocs with no socks on, and the Crocs look like they've never been washed a day in their life. And he's telling you how he can make you $1 million. How likely are you to believe that person? Not likely at all. Matter of fact, you might actually slam the door in his face, and you might maybe call the police because he probably looks homeless. Now, let's put you in another situation, which is where you're on the couch again. Again, your goal is to make $1 million. You get another knock at the door, but when you open it, it's a guy in a tailored Tom Ford suit with amazing shoes on, right? The suit is, again, tailored. He's super clean cut, has an amazing beard, wears glasses, and he's telling you that he can make you $1 million. Now, aside from it being random, him knocking on your door, he looks like he has the potential to make you $1 million rather than the first guy. And I relate that to content because when your content looks crappy, when the value in your content is at this Googleable level, you look like the guy with the dirty tank top and the dirty Levi's. But when you're here, and in this top level that I'm actually going to get to in a second, when you're here though, you look like somebody that can actually help them. You seem like you come across as somebody that they actually want to follow, somebody that they genuinely care to be catered to, genuinely care to cater to from a content perspective, and you allow them to get into a headspace of wanting to go up your value ladder. Okay? Now, that's for experience. Now for the final, and I'll make this pyramid super, super, super big. When you are at this level, I call this, and what this means, right? I change up this name all the time, right? So if you're inside of my program, I'll probably call this something else when I go deeper into it and how you can actually apply this to yourself. But when I say paid to free, I mean that your free content, right, that you put out to everybody else, right? That's a phone. Your free content has information in it that people will literally pay money for. Simple as that, right? So rather than this level, right, where you're speaking simply from your experience, this level is a big brother to the experience level, which means that every single video that you're putting out, and it doesn't have to be every video, because what I like to personally do is I like to mix these two together. Anyways, again, I'm not supposed to be getting entirely too deep, but this means that the information within your video, right? Your video is so good that people would pay money for that video, right? If you was to sell that video as a product, right? As a free masterclass, people would pay for that type of information that you gave away in that video. That's how you know you are here. Okay, now here and here is exactly where I recommend to go. And I actually want to talk about why I would recommend going there and how it can actually help you further in your content ecosystem journey, right? So when you operate in an experience level, right, and when you operate in the paid to free level, from an outside perspective, you automatically look like an authority. And when you look like an authority, people want to buy stuff from authorities. There are so many people nowadays, young, middle-aged, old people on the internet trying to sell things, trying to sell these coaching programs, or trying to sell these digital products, but everybody looks the same. And so how do you differentiate yourself from a content perspective? Well, there are two ways, right? And this just picks back up from what I was saying earlier. There are two main ways to really set yourself apart and up the value of your content. Number one is the visual quality of it, right? How does it look? How does your audio sound? How does the visuals look? How is your lighting set up, right? Those are things to take into account, right? But you can max that stuff out. What you can't max out is the second way, right? Which is the value and the quality of your information. And so if you up the quality of your information, you up the quality and you get to the paid to free and you get to the experience level, not only will you just be on a totally different level than everybody else, but it will be 10 times easier to get your audience to know you, like you, and trust you from a content perspective. It will be easier for them, once they know you, like you, and trust you, to buy stuff from you. And once they buy stuff from you, they are officially in your content ecosystem. And I'm super excited for anybody who is going to actually take this video and do something with it. Right now, I like to really work and dive deep with entrepreneurs, right, who not only are already making content, but who need direction with that content, who need to figure out, how do I improve my content ecosystem and how do I get people into my content ecosystem so therefore I can turn this content into cash the correct way. And so I hope everybody watching this enjoyed the video. I hope you got some amazing information from it. I hope you're able to implement it. What videos do you want to see next? Please comment down below. I genuinely want to see. Other than that, hope you have an amazing day. Peace out. Thank me. Later.